Let me tell you a marvelous thing. Your consciousness, your I amness, is the only reality. Everything that you perceive in your world, everything that you experience in your daily life, is but an expression of your consciousness made manifest. The art of mental discipline. Tonight I shall share with you how to master the divine art of mental discipline. For you see, your thoughts are not mere passive occurrences in your mind. They are living, breathing seeds that must inevitably grow into the circumstances of your life. Let us begin with a fundamental truth. Every moment of your life you are thinking. But are you thinking from the end? Are you thinking from the state of your wish fulfilled? This is the crux of mental discipline, the law of consciousness. I want you to understand this profound truth. Whatever you are conscious of being, you become. This is the law, and it cannot fail. If you persist in maintaining a particular state in your consciousness, it must externalize itself in your world. It must, for this is the law. Consider this. When you go to your bedroom tonight, you will naturally assume that you are in your bed. You don't hope you're in your bed. You don't wish you were in your bed. You simply are in your bed. This is the naturalness I speak of. This is the state of consciousness that creates the 4 pillars of mental discipline. Let me share with you what I call the 4 pillars of mental discipline. These are the fundamental principles that will allow you to master your thoughts and therefore master your life. First pillar, the state of I am. Your I am is your consciousness, your true self. Whatever follows your I am, you become. When you say I'm tired, you become tired. When you say I am wealthy, you become wealthy. The I am in you is God himself. And whatever you attach to it becomes your reality. Practice this throughout your day. Become aware of what you're attaching to your I am. Are you saying I am sick? I am broke? I am unlucky? Change these statements. Begin to attach to your I am only what you wish to be true. Second pillar, living from the end. This is crucial, my dear friends. You must learn to think and feel from the end. What do I mean by this? I mean, you must assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. If you desire wealth, you must think from wealth, not about wealth. Let me give you an example. Suppose you desire to be a successful author. Don't think about becoming an author. Instead, assume the feeling of being a successful author now. How would you feel? What would you think? How would you walk? How would you talk? Assume that state now. Third pillar, the law of revision. Here is a wonderful technique I've used countless times. At the end of each day, before you sleep, revise the events that didn't go as you wished. See them play out exactly as you would have wanted them to occur. You see, memory is imagination. The past exists only in your mind, and you can revise it. By revising the day's events, you're actually restructuring your consciousness, which will then create new and better circumstances in your future. Fourth pillar, persistent assumption. Now let me share with you something profound about persistence. It's not enough to imagine your desire once or twice. You must persist in your assumption until it hardens into fact. Think of it like this. When you plant a seed in the ground, you don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You water it, you tend to it, and you trust in the law of growth. The same is true with your thoughts. The practice of mental discipline. Let me now share with you the practical application of these principles. This is how you discipline your thoughts in your daily life. Morning practice. When you wake in the morning, before you rise from your bed, assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Feel the naturalness of having what you desire. Don't just visualize it, feel it. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the completeness of having your desire fulfilled. Daytime vigilance. Throughout your day, watch your mental diet. Your thoughts are like food for your consciousness. Would you eat spoiled food? Then why feed your mind with negative thoughts? When a negative thought arises, don't fight it. Simply replace it with its positive opposite. Remember, what you resist persists. What you accept and replace dissolves. Evening revision. Before sleep, review your day. But don't review it as it happened. Review it as you would have wanted it to happen. This is the art of revision, and it's one of the most powerful tools you possess. The power of feeling. Let me share something crucial about feeling. It's not enough to simply think the right thoughts, you must feel them to be true. The feeling is the secret. When you combine thought with feeling, you create with the full power of your consciousness. Feel the reality of your desire now. Feel its naturalness. Feel as though it were already accomplished. For in truth, in the realm of consciousness, it is already accomplished. Overcoming mental resistance. Now, you might experience resistance when you begin this practice. Your rational mind might say, this isn't true. This isn't real. But remember, your rational mind can only tell you what has been, not what can be. The secret is to persist despite the evidence of your senses. Your senses show you the world as it was created by your past thoughts. Your imagination shows you the world as it can be, created by your disciplined thoughts. The power of silent awareness. Here's a wonderful practice I want to share with you. Throughout your day, take moments of silent awareness. Become conscious of your I amness. Feel your existence, your beingness. From this state of pure awareness, you can more easily direct your thoughts. The art of mental construction. Think of your mind as a magnificent mansion. Each thought is a room in this mansion. Through mental discipline, you become the architect of this mansion. You decide which rooms to build, which to renovate, and which to demolish. When you catch yourself in a negative thought, say to yourself, this is not the room I choose to dwell in. Then consciously construct a new thought, a new room furnished with your desires fulfilled. The practice of gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful tool for mental discipline. When you feel grateful for something, you're acknowledging its reality in your consciousness. Practice feeling grateful for your desires as though they were already fulfilled. The law of assumption in action. Let me share with you a principle that never fails. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and then live and act from that assumption. This is the secret of mental discipline, to think, feel, and act from the end. If you desire wealth, assume the feeling of wealth now. How does a wealthy person think? How does a wealthy person feel? Assume that state and maintain it despite all evidence to the contrary. The power of your mental diet. Just as you carefully choose what food you eat, choose your thoughts with equal care. Your mental diet determines your life experience. Feed your mind with thoughts of success, love, abundance, and joy. When negative thoughts arise, and they will, don't fight them. Simply observe them and let them pass like clouds in the sky. Then consciously choose better thoughts. The practice of mental discipline. Throughout your day, practice these principles. Watch your I am statements. Think from the end. Revise unwanted events. Persist in your assumption. Maintain a healthy mental diet. Practice gratitude. Stay in silent awareness. Remember, your consciousness is the only reality. Everything in your world is a reflection of your consciousness. By disciplining your thoughts, you literally reshape your world. Concluding words. My dear friends, remember this. You are the operant power in your world. Your consciousness creates your reality. By disciplining your thoughts, you're not just changing your mind, you're changing your entire world. Practice these principles. Apply them diligently. For when you master the art of mental discipline, you master the art of living itself. Let me tell you a story that illustrates this principle perfectly. Recently, a lady came to me in despair about her financial situation. She had been thinking thoughts of lack, of poverty, of not enough. I asked her to do something that seemed radical at the time, to completely ignore the evidence of her senses and instead live in the assumption of wealth, the continuous state of awareness. You see, mental discipline isn't something you practice for an hour and then abandon. It must become your continuous state of awareness. When you wake in the morning, your first thought should be from the state of your wish fulfilled. When you walk down the street, walk as the person you wish to be. When you speak, speak from the consciousness of your desire achieved. The secret of mental persistence. Here's a wonderful secret. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what you're imagining and what's real. When you persist in maintaining a disciplined thought pattern, your subconscious mind must accept it as fact. And what the subconscious accepts, it must externalize in your world. The 3 states of thought. Consider these 3 states of thought. The surface thoughts. These are your casual, everyday thoughts that flow through your mind like leaves on a stream. The intermediate thoughts. These are your more deliberate thoughts, the ones you consciously choose to think. The deep, persistent thoughts. These are the thoughts that you have impressed upon your subconscious through repetition and feeling. Your work is to move your desired thoughts from the surface level to the deep level through conscious discipline and persistence. The art of mental rehearsal. Practice this technique. Before any important event in your life, rehearse it mentally from the end. See it completed perfectly. Feel the satisfaction of its perfect completion. Do this repeatedly until it feels natural and real to you. The power of I remember when. Here's another powerful technique for thought discipline. Instead of saying I want or I will, use the phrase one remember when. For example, instead of saying I want to be wealthy, say I remember when I was struggling financially before I became wealthy. This puts your mind in the position of looking back on the fulfillment of your desire, rather than looking forward to it. It's a subtle but powerful shift in consciousness. The silent knowing. Develop what I call the silent knowing. This is a state of absolute certainty about your desire's fulfillment. It's not hoping, not wishing, not wanting. It's knowing. This knowing comes from disciplined thought focused on the end result. The practice of mental cleansing. Just as you cleanse your body, you must cleanse your mind. Each night before sleep, review your thoughts of the day. Which ones serve your desired end? Which ones oppose it? Consciously release the opposing thoughts and strengthen the supporting ones. The law of dual thought. Remember this principle: you cannot hold 2 opposing thoughts simultaneously. When you find yourself thinking an unwanted thought, immediately replace it with its positive opposite. This is mental discipline in action, the final key. And now, my dear wonderful friends, let me give you the final key to mastering your thoughts. Is this: love your present reality while simultaneously dwelling in your desired state. This seems paradoxical, but it's crucial for successful mental discipline. Don't hate where you are while trying to get where you want to be. Instead, appreciate your current reality while knowing, absolutely knowing, that your desired state is already yours in consciousness. The promise. I promise you this: if you will discipline your thoughts as I have outlined tonight, if you will persist in maintaining the consciousness of your wish fulfilled, if you will live from the end rather than toward it, your world must conform to your disciplined imagination. For this is the law of consciousness: whatever you assume to be true, whatever you persist in believing, must become your reality. The daily application. My dear friends, before you leave tonight, let me share with you something profound about the daily application of these principles. You see, mental discipline is not merely a practice, it is a way of life. The morning protocol. When you awaken each morning, before you even open your eyes, lie still in your bed and practice this protocol. First, feel your I am-ness. Feel your existence, your beingness. This is God within you, the only creative power there is. Then, from this state of pure awareness, consciously choose the thoughts you will entertain for the day. Remember, the first hour of your morning shapes the nature of your entire day. Guard these precious moments with complete awareness, the state akin to sleep. There's something marvelous about the moments just before sleep and just after waking. In these drowsy states, your subconscious mind is most receptive to new impressions. Use these golden moments wisely. In this state akin to sleep, impress upon your mind the absolute reality of your desire fulfilled. Feel it. Live it, be it. Let this be the last state of consciousness you experience before sleep claims you. The secret of mental posture. Consider your mental posture throughout the day. Just as your physical posture affects how you feel and perform, your mental posture determines what you attract and create. Stand tall in your mind. Walk through your day from the consciousness of your wish fulfilled. speak, act, and respond to life from this elevated state of being. The art of mental forgetting. Here's a profound secret many miss. The art of mental discipline includes knowing what to forget. You must learn to forget the old story, the old limitations, the old excuses. When the old story tries to assert itself, and it will, gently but firmly dismiss it. Say to yourself, that was then. This is now. I choose to dwell in the consciousness of my wish fulfilled. The power of repeated assumption. Let me share with you something crucial about mental discipline. It's not enough to assume your desire once or twice. You must live in that assumption until it becomes your dominant feeling. Think of it like this. When you move to a new home, at first it feels strange, unfamiliar. But through continued living there, it becomes natural, familiar, yours. The same principle applies to your new mental state. The practice of mental fidelity. Be faithful to your disciplined thoughts as you would be faithful to a beloved spouse. Don't flirt with negative thoughts. Don't entertain doubts. Stay true to your chosen state of consciousness. Remember, what you are faithful to, you create. What you are loyal to in consciousness must manifest in your world. The law of mental equivalence. Understanding this law is crucial. For every outer condition, there must be an inner equivalent. Your external world is simply the reflection of your disciplined or undisciplined thoughts. Want to change your outer world? Change your inner equivalent through disciplined thought and feeling. The Sabbath of the mind. Practice what I call the Sabbath of the mind. Periods throughout your day when you completely rest from effort and simply dwell in the consciousness of your wish fulfilled. These mental Sabbaths are crucial. They allow your new thoughts to take root and grow without the interference of doubt or anxiety. The power of mental conviction. Develop an unshakable conviction in the power of your disciplined thoughts. This conviction comes through practice and experience. Test these principles in small things first, then graduate to larger desires. Remember, the law works the same whether you're manifesting a parking space or a palace. The only difference is in your level of conviction. The art of mental acceptance. Accept, truly accept, that your consciousness is the only reality. Your world is simply consciousness objectified. Once you accept this truth, mental discipline becomes not just a practice, but a joyous responsibility. The final practice. And now, my dear friends, let me give you one final practice before we part. Tonight, when you lay your head upon your pillow, do this. Feel the absolute reality of your desire fulfilled. Feel it with all your heart. Feel the gratitude, the joy, the satisfaction of having what you desire. Fall asleep in this feeling. For remember, the feeling is the secret. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is the secret of creation, the eternal truth. As we conclude this evening, remember this eternal truth. You are not seeking something outside yourself. You are simply selecting a state of consciousness to occupy. Through mental discipline, you choose which state you will dwell in. The promise renewed. I promise you this, practice these principles faithfully, maintain mental discipline consistently, and your world must by law conform to your disciplined imagination. For consciousness is the only reality, and your disciplined thoughts are the tools with which you shape that reality. The final word. Go forth tonight with this knowledge. You are not a helpless victim of your thoughts. You are the master of your mind, the author of your experience, the creator of your reality. Through disciplined thought, you can and will create the life you desire. Remember, your consciousness is God, and your disciplined imagination is your direct link to this infinite creative power. Use it wisely, use it lovingly, and use it constantly. And now, as we conclude this evening, take a moment to feel the absolute reality of your desire fulfilled. Feel it with all your heart. Know it with all your being. For in this feeling and knowing lies the power that transforms your world. Test this law. Prove it to yourself. For in the testing lies your freedom, and in the proving lies your power. Thank you, and good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, my beloved brothers and sisters, today I come to you with a word that will shake the very foundation of your spirit, a revelation that will transform your thinking, elevate your faith, and position you to walk in the fullness of God's promises. I speak to you not as mere men and women, but as chosen vessels, as kings and queens in the making, as the elect of the Most High, who have been tested, refined, and prepared for a season of divine overflow. Many of you have been through trials that made you question your calling. You have endured storms that threatened to break you. You have faced betrayals, setbacks, disappointments, and long nights of wondering when God's promise would manifest. But I came here today to tell you your season of trial has come to an end. The days of struggling, barely making it, fighting for survival, they are over. The Lord has declared over you, "Well done, my faithful servant. Now step into abundance." You see, trials are not punishments. Trials are not meant to destroy you. Trials are divine classrooms, places of testing where God molds his chosen ones into leaders, influencers, and stewards of great wealth. Gold must go through fire before it shines. Diamonds must be pressed before they sparkle. Oil must be crushed before it flows. And you, God's chosen one, have been through your crushing, your pressing, your refining fire. And now it is time for your reward. The word of God declares in Deuteronomy 8:18, "Remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you the power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant." It is not the world that gives wealth. It is not luck. It is not the systems of men. It is God himself who grants the power to generate wealth, to establish dominion, to live in the overflow. And why does he do it? That his covenant may be established. Let me tell you something. Poverty is not your portion. Lack is not your inheritance. Struggle is not your destiny. You were born for dominion. The enemy has deceived many into believing that they must suffer indefinitely, that they must live in scarcity to be humble. But let me ask you, how does a child of the king live like a beggar? How does an heir to the kingdom walk like a slave? The moment you recognize who you are, your posture changes, your mindset shifts, and your circumstances must bow to the authority of your revelation. You are not just anyone. You are God's chosen. Before you were born, he knew you. Before you took your first breath, he had a purpose for you. And part of that purpose is to be a conduit of his wealth. He is shifting you from borrower to lender, from worker to owner, from survival to significance. The trials were your training ground. The hardships were your preparation. You had to be tested so that when the millions come, you will not be consumed by them, but you will steward them for the glory of God. Let me remind you of Joseph. The young man had a dream of greatness, a vision of prosperity, but before the palace he faced the pit. Before the crown he wore chains. Before ruling he was falsely accused. But through it all God was training him. He was refining his character, sharpening his wisdom, preparing his heart, and when the moment came, Joseph stepped into his wealth, not as a selfish man, but as a divine steward. Likewise, your journey has not been in vain. Every tear you cried, every night you prayed, every moment you felt abandoned, it was all part of the preparation. You had to lose some things to gain better things. You had to walk through seasons of emptiness so you could appreciate the overflow. You had to endure trials to prove your faithfulness. And because you did not give up, because you remained faithful, because you held on to the promises of God, now the floodgates of heaven are opening for you. God is not just giving you money, he is giving you divine strategies. He is placing ideas in your mind that will birth industries. He is giving you favor that will open doors no man can shut. He is sending the right people to connect with you, the right opportunities to align with your purpose. But you must be ready to step into it. Many people pray for abundance but are not prepared to receive it. If God gives you millions today, will you manage it well? If he entrusts you with wealth, will you use it for his kingdom, or will you let it corrupt you? The reason God allows trials before the breakthrough is to shape your heart, to ensure that when the millions come, they do not take his place in your life. Let me speak prophetically into your life. You are stepping into an era where doors will open without struggle, where financial opportunities will locate you, where debts will be cancelled and wealth will flow into your hands. But hear me. This is not just about you. This is about kingdom expansion. This is about feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, funding the gospel, building schools, hospitals, and businesses that will glorify God. You're not just becoming a millionaire for your comfort. You are becoming a millionaire for kingdom impact. There is an anointing for wealth that is being released upon the chosen ones, and it is for those who have endured the test. The wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous, and now is the time of divine wealth transfer. God is positioning you to be a leader in the marketplace, a financier of the gospel, a pillar in your community. The world is waiting for you to rise. Your family is waiting for you to break generational curses. Your city is waiting for the manifestation of God's glory in your life. This is your time. This is your moment. The wait is over. No more delay, no more excuses. Walk boldly into the blessing. Step courageously into the overflow. The trials are over. Now you are stepping into your millionaire status. This is not wishful thinking. This is not motivational speech. This is divine revelation. The enemy has tried to keep you blind to your inheritance, but today your eyes are opening. The chains of limitation are breaking. The curses of poverty are being reversed. The season of just enough is turning into a season of more than enough. So I challenge you today, change your mindset. Stop thinking like a slave and start thinking like a ruler. Stop expecting scarcity and start expecting overflow. Stop waiting for permission and start taking dominion. Wealth is not coming to the lazy. Wealth is not coming to the fearful. Wealth is coming to the diligent, the bold, the faithful, the obedient. The trials were necessary. They humbled you, they refined you, they tested your faith. And now, because you endured, you shall reap the reward. You are not just going to make a little money, you are going to be a millionaire. You are going to fund the kingdom. You are going to change lives. You are going to walk in such abundance that generations after you will call you blessed. So get ready, get positioned, get aligned with God's principles. Sow, invest, plan, and expect the harvest, because what is coming to you is bigger than what you prayed for. It is exceeding, abundant, above all you can ask or think. It is supernatural wealth, divine acceleration, unstoppable favor. The trials are over, and now you're going to be a millionaire. Hallelujah. The problem with many of God's people is not that they lack the capacity for greatness, but that they have been conditioned by the world to expect struggle as their permanent reality. Some of you have been so accustomed to hardship that when God opens a door, you hesitate. When an opportunity comes, you question it. When the breakthrough is at your doorstep, you shrink back in fear. But let me remind you today, God does not bring you through trials just to leave you in the wilderness. He does not allow you to be tested without a reward in mind. Every struggle has a purpose. Every hardship has a lesson. Every delay has a divine reason. And when that purpose is fulfilled, God will do exactly what He promised. He will bless you beyond measure. There are some of you who have been faithful in seasons of lack, and God has been watching. He has seen how you have managed the little you had. He saw you give when it was hard to give. He saw you trust when it was hard to trust. He saw you serve when you were tired and weary. And because you have been faithful over little, He is now about to make you ruler over much. The reason God allows seasons of testing is not to break you, but to qualify you. You have been tested, and now you are stepping into promotion. The trials were the prerequisite for your next level. Many people want the crown without the process. They want the millions without the discipline. They want success without obedience. But God does not work that way. God does not pour oil on an unprepared vessel. God does not release wealth into untrained hands. If you give a child a kingdom, he will destroy it, not because he is evil, but because he lacks the maturity to manage it. That is why God has taken you through trials, so that when the millions come, they will not destroy you, but rather they will empower you. Look at David. Before he became king, he was a shepherd. Before he sat on the throne, he lived in caves. Before he wore a crown, he faced Goliath. Why? Because God had to train him in obscurity before he could trust him with authority. Some of you have been hidden, unnoticed, overlooked, and rejected, but that was part of your training. God was sharpening your skills, developing your character, teaching you patience. And now, the season of hiding is over. You are stepping into your rightful place, not as a servant, but as a ruler. The wealth is coming, the favor is coming, the open doors are coming. But will you be ready? There is a principle in the kingdom. God blesses those who are ready. Some of you are praying for millions, but you have not yet mastered the art of managing hundreds. Some of you are asking for abundance, but your mindset is still stuck in scarcity. God does not pour new wine into old wineskins. Before he releases wealth, he transforms the mind. That is why Romans 12:02 tells us to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. You cannot enter a millionaire's season with a poverty mindset. You cannot step into overflow while thinking like a beggar. Your mindset must shift before your reality does. The enemy has been working overtime to keep God's people ignorant of their inheritance. He knows that a believer with financial power is a dangerous believer. He knows that if you ever step into your wealth, you will break generational curses, fund the gospel, build schools, take over industries, and shift economies. That is why he fights you. That is why he tries to keep you bound in survival mode. He knows that as long as you are struggling, you are distracted. But today I came to announce that the chains are breaking. The deception is being exposed. The strongholds of lack and limitation are being destroyed. You are stepping into a season where money will no longer be your master but your servant. Money was never meant to control you, it was meant to serve you. That is why Jesus spoke so much about stewardship. He did not condemn wealth, he condemned the love of it. Money is a tool, a resource, a means to fulfill purpose. It is not your identity. It is not your security. It is not your God. When you understand this, you will stop chasing money and start attracting it. You will stop worrying about finances and start walking in divine provision. The reason many people struggle financially is because they have made money their master. But Jesus said, "Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you." When you shift your focus from money to purpose, from survival to dominion, from fear to faith, wealth begins to find you. The chosen ones do not beg for blessings. They walk in blessings. They do not chase favor, they attract favor. They do not wait for opportunities, they create them. This is the season where you must start thinking differently. You are not a victim. You are not at the mercy of the economy. You are not bound by what the world says you can have. You are a kingdom citizen, and in the kingdom there is no lack. In the kingdom there are no limits. In the kingdom, prosperity is your inheritance. Some of you have been conditioned by religion to believe that wealth is evil. But let me ask you, how can you fund the kingdom without resources? How can you be a blessing to others if you are struggling to survive? The Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. You are not called to leave debts behind. You are called to leave a legacy. The wealth that is coming to you is not just for you. It is for your children, your grandchildren, and for the advancement of God's work. This is the time to position yourself. Get educated, develop new skills. Start thinking like an owner. Invest wisely. Seek wisdom. Do not let this opportunity pass you by. The trials are over. The season of struggle has ended. And now it is time to walk into your inheritance. If you have been faithful, God is about to show himself strong in your life. The days of barely getting by are finished. The days of endless battles are coming to an end. Now is the time to rise, to take dominion, and to walk boldly into your millionaire season. The enemy tried to keep you down, but he failed. The storms tried to break you, but they only made you stronger. The setbacks tried to delay you, but they only positioned you for greater. What the enemy meant for evil, God is turning for your good. The waiting was not wasted. The suffering was not pointless. Everything you went through was preparing you for what is about to happen. This is not just a new season. This is a new dimension. This is a supernatural shift. This is the manifestation of God's promise. So I say to you today, get ready. Expand your vision. Make room for abundance. Start preparing for what is coming. Do not be like the 5 foolish virgins who were not ready when the time came. Get your house in order. Set your affairs in place. Expect the overflow. You are about to see the hand of God move in your life like never before. You are about to experience supernatural favor. The trials are over. Now you are stepping into divine prosperity. This is not for everyone. This is for the chosen ones. This is for those who did not give up. This is for those who endured. This is for those who remained faithful when things got tough. And because you endured, because you remained steadfast, because you trusted in God, now the heavens are opening over you. Now the wealth of the wicked is being transferred to you. Now doors are swinging wide open. Now you are stepping into the reality of God's promise. The trials were only temporary, but the blessing will be permanent. You are going to be a millionaire, not for selfish gain, not for vain pursuits, but for kingdom impact. The wealth is coming so that you can be a solution to problems, a light in darkness, a testimony of God's goodness. The days of struggling are over. The trials have served their purpose. Now it is time to walk in the fullness of what God has destined for you. The season has shifted. The floodgates have opened. The trials are over, and now you are going to be a millionaire. The journey you have walked has been necessary. Every tear you shed, every hardship you endured, every moment of doubt you faced, it was all preparing you for this. God was not punishing you. He was promoting you. He was stretching you, expanding your capacity, and enlarging your territory. You see, the problem is not that God is unwilling to bless you. The problem is that too many people want a blessing they are not yet ready to handle. God cannot release wealth into unprepared hands. He cannot give increase to those who lack the discipline to sustain it. That is why He allowed the process. That is why He tested you. And because you have endured, because you have been found faithful, now He is releasing the increase. Some of you have been crying out to God, asking, Lord, when will my breakthrough come? And He is saying the breakthrough is already here, but are you ready to walk in it? Many people are waiting for a sign, waiting for a miracle, waiting for something external to change. But the truth is, before the external shifts, the internal must shift. Your mindset must shift. Your faith must increase. Your habits must align with the vision God has given you. You cannot expect millionaire status while thinking in poverty. You cannot expect financial increase while still operating in lack. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. If you see yourself as small, you will remain small. If you see yourself as incapable, you will remain incapable. But when you recognize that you are chosen, when you understand that you have been set apart, when you truly believe that you are destined for greatness, then nothing can stop the manifestation of God's promises in your life. The enemy does not attack people who have no purpose. He attacks those who are dangerous to his kingdom. That is why your trials were so intense. That is why the warfare against you was so fierce. He saw what you were about to become. He saw the wealth that was coming to you. He saw the influence that God was positioning you for, and he tried to break you before you could step into it. But he failed. You're still standing, you're still believing, you're still trusting, and because you did not give up, because you did not quit, now you are stepping into your season of supernatural release. The Word of God says that He will restore the years that the locusts have eaten. Some of you have lost time. You have lost opportunities. You have watched others move ahead while you felt stuck. But God is a God of restoration. He is not just giving you back what you lost, He is multiplying it. He is giving you double for your trouble. He is accelerating what seemed delayed. What took others 10 years will take you 1 year. What seemed impossible will become effortless. This is the season of divine acceleration, where things will happen so fast your head will spin. Many of you have been faithful with little, and now God is making you ruler over much. He is giving you divine strategies, supernatural wisdom, and ideas that will generate wealth for generations. But hear me, this wealth is not just for your comfort. It is for kingdom expansion. It is for breaking generational curses. It is for establishing businesses that will employ others. It is for feeding the hungry, housing the homeless, funding the gospel, and being a light in the marketplace. The wealth is coming with a purpose, and those who understand that purpose will see an increase beyond their imagination. Too many believers are waiting for wealth to fall from the sky. But the truth is, God blesses the work of your hands. That means you must be doing something, you must be building something, you must be sowing seeds of diligence, creativity, and obedience. You cannot sit idly and expect abundance to chase you. Faith without works is dead. You must align your actions with your faith. If you believe you are stepping into millionaire status, then start moving like a millionaire. Start thinking like an owner. Start preparing for what is coming. Make room for the overflow. The reason some people never walk into their blessing is that they never prepare for it. They pray for a harvest but never plant seeds. They ask for promotion but never develop the skills required for the next level. They expect abundance but still operate in a spirit of scarcity. But God is saying today, I am ready to release it, but are you ready to receive it? This is the time to take action. This is the time to get serious about your purpose. This is the time to move in faith, even when you do not see the full picture. Because when you move, heaven moves. When you step out, the provision meets you. When you obey, the doors open. The trials were never meant to destroy you, they were meant to reveal you. Diamonds are formed under pressure, oil is released through crushing, gold is purified in fire, and you, God's chosen one, have been through the process. You have been through the refining. You have been through the pressing. And now it is time for the unveiling. The season of hiddenness is over. The season of struggle has expired. Now you are stepping into the manifestation of everything God has spoken over your life. Some of you have been afraid to step out because of past failures. You tried before and it didn't work. You believed before and it didn't happen. But hear me, the past does not define your future. The enemy wants to keep you trapped in the cycle of disappointment, but today that cycle is breaking. This is a new season, a fresh start, a divine reset. The doors that closed before will now open. The opportunities that were blocked will now be released. The favor that was delayed will now accelerate. God is not limited by your past. He is not restricted by what has happened before. He is doing a new thing. Can you perceive it? Can you embrace it? Can you believe it? Because those who believe will see the manifestation. Those who expect it will walk in it. Those who align themselves with God's promises will experience supernatural results. This is not the time to shrink back. This is not the time to hesitate. This is the time to move boldly, to walk in faith, to take possession of what belongs to you. You have been anointed for such a time as this. You have been positioned for this moment. Everything you went through was leading to this. The struggles, the setbacks, the betrayals, the losses, they were all necessary for your elevation. And now the elevation has come. The shift has happened. The wealth is being transferred, the resources are being released, and those who have been faithful will now reap the rewards. So let me ask you, are you ready? Are you truly ready to walk in the fullness of God's blessing? Because this is not just about financial wealth. This is about purpose. This is about influence. This is about impact. Money without purpose is meaningless. Wealth without assignment is wasted. But when you understand why God is blessing you, when you align your wealth with His kingdom, when you use what He gives you for His glory, then there is no limit to what He will do in your life. The chosen ones are rising. The marketplace leaders, the kingdom financiers, the business owners, the innovators, the problem solvers, they are emerging. This is the time to build, to create, to take dominion. This is the time to establish systems that will last for generations. This is the time to break cycles of poverty and establish new legacies of wealth. The world will see the manifestation of God's power in your life. They will see the hand of God upon you. They will see that you serve a God who does not just supply your needs, but gives you more than enough. The trials were necessary. but they are over now. The waiting season has ended. The struggle has served its purpose. Now the abundance is being released. Now the overflow is coming. Now the millions are manifesting. And those who are ready will walk into it. Those who are prepared will take possession. Those who believe will see the impossible become possible. This is the hour. This is the moment. The season has shifted. The trials are over. Now you are going to be a millionaire. There is a sound in the spirit, a sound of breakthrough, a sound of release, a sound of divine acceleration. You have been waiting, you have been laboring, you have been enduring, but now the heavens are open over you. The storehouses of heaven are pouring out blessings that you do not have room enough to receive. The delay has been broken, the barriers have been removed, and what once seemed impossible is now within reach. You see, the enemy wanted to convince you that the trials would last forever. He wanted you to believe that struggle was your portion, that lack was your inheritance, that hardship was your destiny. But today I declare that the enemy is a liar. You were never meant to live in survival mode. You were never meant to beg for what already belongs to you. You were never meant to live beneath your calling. You were created for dominion, for abundance, for overflow. You were designed to be the lender and not the borrower, the head and not the tail, above and not beneath. And now you are stepping into that reality. This is a divine wealth transfer. This is supernatural favor. What took others decades to accomplish will happen for you in moments. Contracts will find you, clients will seek you out, partnerships will be established, doors you did not even knock on will open, your name is being spoken in rooms you have never entered. People are being divinely positioned to bless you, to invest in you, to elevate you, not because of luck, not because of chance, but because God has ordained it. Because the trials were only a test, and now that you have passed, you are stepping into your season of divine reward. There is a shift happening, a supernatural shift. It is happening right now, even as you hear these words. Things are aligning in the spirit. Mountains are being moved. Chains are breaking. And as you step forward in faith, you will see the evidence. You will see the manifestation. You will see the fulfillment of God's promises. The trials were necessary, but they are over. The struggle was a process, but it is complete. Now the floodgates of heaven are open. Now your millionaire season has arrived. Now is the time to walk boldly in the manifestation of God's promises. The trials were never meant to define you. They were meant to refine you. The struggle was never your destiny. It was only preparation for your elevation. You have been tested. You have been stretched. You have been shaped for this moment. And now the season of lack has come to an end. Step forward with faith. Move with expectation. Align your mind, your actions, and your spirit with the abundance that God is releasing into your life. This is not the time to shrink back, not the time to doubt, not the time to hesitate. Everything you have endured was for this purpose, to position you for increase, to establish you in dominion, to release you into wealth that will not just bless you, but will impact generations. The shift has happened. The doors are open, the opportunities are before you, the trials are over. Now, step into your millionaire season with confidence, knowing that God has ordained it, heaven has sanctioned it, and nothing can stop what He has set in motion. The time is now.
I want you to understand that these habits we'll discuss are not external forces imposed upon you. They are patterns of thought and behavior that you have accepted, perhaps unknowingly, as part of your reality. But just as you have accepted them, you have the power to release them and step into your true, limitless nature. Let us begin with the first habit, living in the past. My dear friends, how often do you find yourselves dwelling on past events, reliving old hurts, or longing for times gone by? This habit of living in the past is perhaps the most insidious of all, for it robs you of your true creative power, the power of now. You see, the past, as you perceive it, is nothing more than a shadow, a memory traced in the halls of your mind. It has no substance, no reality. except that which you give it through your attention. When you dwell in the past, you are quite literally creating it anew in your present experience. Imagine, if you will, a projector in a cinema. The images on the screen seem real, don't they? They evoke emotions, trigger responses. But are they truly real? No, they are mere projections, illusions of light and shadow. Your memories, your past, are much the same. They are projections of your consciousness given light by your attention. But here's the liberating truth. You are not the projectionist, bound to play the same reel over and over. You are the projector itself, the source of all images. You have the power to change the reel, to project new images, to create a new reality. How do you do this? By fully embracing the power of the present moment. By recognizing that now is the only point of power. It is in this moment, right here, right now, that you have the ability to choose, to create, to manifest. When you catch yourself dwelling on the past, gently but firmly bring your attention back to the present. Feel the aliveness of this moment. Recognize that in this now you are free, you are powerful, you are divine. The past no power over you unless you give it power. This leads us seamlessly to our second habit, worrying about the future. Just as living in the past robs you of your power, so too does anxiety about the future. How many of you lie awake at night mind racing with what ifs and worst case scenarios? This habit of projecting fear into the future is a misuse of your divine created power. You see, my dear friends, the future does not exist except as a concept in your mind. It is a blank canvas waiting for the strokes of your imagination. When you worry about the future, you are using your God-given power of creation to manifest the very things you fear. Remember, your imagination is not just idle fantasy. It is the very workshop in which your reality is forged. What you imagine with feeling, with conviction, becomes the blueprint for your experience. When you worry, you are imagining negative outcomes and imbuing them with the power of your emotion. You are in essence praying for what you do not want. Instead of worrying about the future, I urge you to use your imagination constructively. See the future you desire. Feel it live it in your mind as if it were already a reality. For in truth it is, in the realm of infinite possibility, which is your true home, all possibilities already exist. Your job is not to make things happen, but to align yourself with the reality you prefer. When you find yourself worrying about the future, pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself that the future is not set in stone, but is clay in your hands. Then consciously choose to imagine the outcome you desire. Feel the relief, the joy, the satisfaction of that preferred future. Let those feelings fill your being. This is not mere positive thinking, my friends. This is the active use of your divine creative power. Now let us move on to the third habit, comparing yourself to others. This habit, my dear friends, is a particularly pernicious one, for it denies the unique divine spark that resides within each of you. When you compare yourself to others, you are looking outside of yourself for validation, for a measure of your worth. But I tell you, there is no standard external to you by which you can be measured. You are a unique expression of the divine. There has never been, nor will there ever be, another being exactly like you. Your journey, your experiences, your perspective are yours alone. To compare yourself to another is like comparing an oak tree to a rose bush. Both are perfect expressions of life, yet wholly unique in their manifestation. When you fall into the habit of comparison, you are denying your own divinity. You are saying to the universe, I am not enough as I am. But I assure you, you are more than enough. You are in fact all that is. For in your true nature, you are one with the divine, one with all of creation. Instead of comparing yourself to others, I urge you to turn your gaze inward. Recognize the divine spark within you. Celebrate your unique gifts, your particular way of expressing the infinite. For it is in embracing your true self, your divine nature, that you find true fulfillment and peace. When you catch yourself making comparisons, pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself of this truth. I am a perfect expression of the divine, whole and complete as I am. Feel the truth of these words resonating in every cell of your being. For as you acknowledge your own divinity, you automatically release the need for external validation. This understanding leads us naturally to our fourth habit, seeking approval from others. My dear friends, how much of your life is spent seeking the approval of others? How often do you shape your actions, your words, even your thoughts, based on what you believe others want or expect from you? This habit of seeking external approval is a denial of your own inner guidance, your own divine wisdom. You see, within each of you is a direct line to the infinite intelligence of the universe. This inner knowing, this divine guidance is always available to you. It speaks to you in the language of intuition, of feeling, of inner knowing. But when you habitually seek approval from others, you drown out this inner voice. You replace divine wisdom with human opinion. Remember, no one else can know what is right for you. No one else walks in your shoes, sees through eyes, or knows the stirrings of your heart. The approval you seek outside yourself can only ever be a pale reflection of the divine approval that already resides within you. Instead of seeking approval from others, I urge you to cultivate a deep trust in your own inner guidance. Listen to the still, small voice within. Feel for the path that resonates with your deepest truth. For it is in aligning with this inner knowing that you step into your true power, your divine nature. When you find yourself seeking approval, pause, take a deep breath. Turn your attention inward and ask yourself, what do I know to be true? What feels right to me? Trust the answer that arises. It may come as a thought, a feeling, or simply a sense of knowing. This is your divine self, guiding you towards your highest good. Now, let us explore the fifth habit, negative self-talk. My dear friends, the words you speak to yourself are perhaps the most powerful in all of creation. For these words, these thoughts are the very instructions you give to the infinite to create your reality. When you engage in negative self-talk, you are quite literally programming yourself for limitation and failure. You see, the subconscious mind does not differentiate between what is real and what is imagined. It accepts as truth whatever you tell it repeatedly. When you habitually engage in negative self-talk, saying things like, I'm not good enough, or I always fail, you are instructing your subconscious to make these statements reality. Here's the liberating truth. Just as you have the power to program limitation, you have the power to program success, abundance, and joy. Your words, your thoughts are the tools with which you sculpt your reality. Instead of negative self-talk, I urge you to consciously cultivate positive, empowering inner dialogue. Speak to yourself as you would to someone you deeply love and respect. Affirm your divine nature, your inherent worthiness, your unlimited potential. When you catch yourself in negative self-talk, pause. Take a deep breath. Then consciously choose to rephrase your thoughts in a positive, empowering way. Instead of I'm not good enough, say I am constantly growing and improving. Instead of I always fail, say every experience brings me closer to success. Remember, my dear friends, you are not your thoughts. You are the thinker of your thoughts. You have the power to choose which thoughts you will entertain, which seeds you will water in the garden of your mind. This understanding brings us to our sixth habit, perfectionism. Perfectionism. It masquerades as a virtue, doesn't it? The relentless pursuit of excellence, the refusal to settle for anything less than the best. But I tell you, my dear friends, perfectionism is a trap. It is a denial of your divine nature, which is already perfect, whole, and complete. You see, the pursuit of perfection implies that you are somehow flawed, incomplete, in need of improvement. But this is a fundamental misunderstanding of your true nature. You are not a human being striving for perfection. You are a perfect divine being having a human experience. The habit of perfectionism keeps you in a constant state of striving, of reaching for a future state of better. But in doing so, it robs you of the joy and power of the present moment. It keeps you focused on what's wrong rather than celebrating what's right. Instead of perfectionism, I urge you to embrace the concept of excellence. Excellence acknowledges your current perfection while allowing for growth and expansion. It celebrates your efforts and achievements rather than constantly finding them lacking. When you find yourself caught in the grip of perfectionism, pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself of this truth. I am already perfect, whole, and complete. My experiences are opportunities for joyful expression, not tests to be passed. This shift in perspective allows you to approach your endeavors with joy and enthusiasm rather than anxiety and self-criticism. It allows you to fully express your divine nature in each moment, rather than postponing your joy to some future state of perfection. Now let us explore the seventh habit, avoiding responsibility. My dear friends, the avoidance of responsibility is perhaps one of the most limiting habits you can cultivate. For in avoiding responsibility, you are denying your own power as a creator. You are saying to the universe, I am not the author of my life, but a victim of circumstance. But I tell you, there are no victims in this universe, only creators who have forgotten their power. Every circumstance in your life, every experience you have, is a creation of your consciousness. This may seem a heavy burden to bear, but it is in fact the key to your liberation. You see, when you avoid responsibility, you place the power to change your life outside of yourself. You wait for circumstances to change, for others to behave differently, for luck to smile upon you. But in doing so, you give away your God-given power to get in. Instead of avoiding responsibility, I urge you to embrace it fully. Recognize that you are the author of your life story. Every thought, every word, every action is a brushstroke on the canvas of your existence. When you embrace this responsibility, you step into your power as a divine creator. When you find yourself avoiding responsibility, pause, take a deep breath. Then ask yourself, how have I created this situation? What can I learn from it? How can I use this as an opportunity for growth and transformation? These questions shift you from a victim mentality to a creator mentality. Remember, taking responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself. It means acknowledging your power to create change. It means recognizing that regardless of what has happened in the past, you have the power to choose your response in this moment, and in doing so, to shape your future. This understanding leads us seamlessly to our eighth habit, fear of care. The fear of failure. How many dreams has it strangled in their cradle? How many divine expressions has it silenced? This habit, my dear friends, is perhaps the most limiting of all, for it keeps you small, keeps you safe, keeps you from expressing the fullness of your divine nature. But what is failure really? Is it not merely a judgment, a label we attach to certain outcomes? And who is the judge? Only you. You see, in the infinite realm of possibility, there is no failure. There are only experiences, each one an opportunity for growth, for learning, for expanding your consciousness. When you fear failure, you are saying to the universe, I do not trust in my divine nature. I do not believe in my ability to grow and adapt. But I tell you, there is nothing to fear, for you are an eternal being, a spark of the divine. No experience can diminish you. No outcome can lessen your inherent worth. Instead of fearing failure, I urge you to embrace it as a teacher. See every failure as feedback, as valuable information guiding you toward your highest expression. For it is often in our greatest challenges that we discover our greatest strengths. When you find yourself gripped by the fear of failure, pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself of this truth: I am an eternal being, whole and complete. Every experience enriches me. Every challenge strengthens me. I cannot fail, for I am always growing. This shift in perspective allows you to approach life with courage and enthusiasm. It frees you to take risks, to try new things, to fully express your divine nature without the paralyzing fear of what if. Now let us explore the ninth habit, lack of self-discipline. My dear friends, self-discipline is often misunderstood. Many see it as a form of self-denial or forcing oneself on unpleasant tasks. But true self-discipline is something far more powerful and liberating. It is the ability to align your actions with your highest intentions, to bring your outer world into harmony with your inner vision. You see, each of you has within you a vision of your highest self, your most divine expression. This vision is not something imposed from outside, but a knowing that comes from your deepest essence. Self-discipline is the bridge that allows you to bring this vision into reality. When you lack self-discipline, you are at the mercy of your fleeting moods, your temporary discomforts, your habitual patterns. You allow the small everyday self to override the wisdom of your higher self. In doing so, you deny your own divinity, your own power to shape your reality. Instead of viewing self-discipline as a burden, I urge you to see it as a form of self-love. It is the highest respect you can show to your divine nature. When you exercise self-discipline, you are saying to the universe, I honor my highest vision. I commit to my own growth and expansion. When you find yourself struggling with self-discipline, pause. Take a deep breath. Connect with your vision of your highest self. Feel the power and aliveness of that vision. Then ask yourself, what action would my highest self take in this moment? Trust the answer that arises and act on it. Remember, self-discipline is not about perfection. It's about consistent effort, about choosing again and again to align with your highest intentions. Each time you make this choice, you strengthen your connection to your divine nature. You expand your capacity to create your desired reality. And finally, we come to our 10th habit, neglecting self-care. My dear friends, your physical body is the temple of your divine spirit. It is the vehicle through which you experience this earthly realm, the instrument through which you express your divine nature. When you neglect self-care, you are not honoring this sacred vessel. But self-care goes beyond mere physical maintenance. True self-care nourishes your mind, your emotions, your spirit. It is about creating space in your life for joy, for rest, for reflection. It is about honoring your needs, respecting your boundaries, and nurturing your deepest self. When you neglect self-care, you are saying to the universe, I am not worthy of care and attention. But I tell you, you are worthy of all the care, all the love, all the attention you can give yourself. For in caring for yourself, you are caring for a unique expression of the divine. Instead of viewing self-care as selfish or indulgent, I urge you to see it as a sacred duty. Just as you would tend to a precious garden, tend to yourself with love, with attention, with devotion. For as you nurture yourself, you increase your capacity to express your divine nature, to bring more light into the world. When you find yourself neglecting self-care, pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what does my deepest self need in this moment? It might be rest, nourishment, movement, connection, or quiet reflection. Trust the answer that arises and honor it. Remember, self-care is not about pampering yourself occasionally. It's about consistently honoring your needs, respecting your boundaries, and nurturing your whole being. It's about creating a life that supports your highest expression. Now, my dear friends, as we come to the close of our exploration of these 10 habits, I want you to understand something crucial. These habits, these patterns of thought and behavior, are not your true nature. They are simply habits, learned responses that you have adopted over time. And just as you have learned them, you can unlearn them. You see, you are not these habits. You are not your thoughts, your emotions, your past experiences. You are the awareness that observes all these things. You are the divine consciousness that animates your being. This awareness, this consciousness untouched by any habit, any pattern, any experience. When you recognize this truth, when you identify with your true nature rather than with these temporary habits, you reclaim your power. You step into your divine inheritance as a creator, as a shaper of reality. So I urge you, my dear friends, to be vigilant. Watch your thoughts, your words, your actions. When you catch yourself falling into these habits of mental weakness, pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself of your true nature. Choose again, this time from a place of power of divine knowing. Remember, every moment is a new beginning. Every breath is an opportunity to realign with your highest self. You are not bound by your past, by your habits, by your perceived limitations. You are free here and now to choose again. As you go forth from this place, carry with you this knowing. You are a divine being, perfect, whole, and complete. These habits we've discussed are not flaws to be corrected, but opportunities for growth, for expansion, for more fully expressing your true nature. Embrace these opportunities. Use them as stepping stones on your journey of self-realization. For as you release these habits of mental weakness, you make space for your true strength to emerge. You allow your divine light to shine more brightly in the world. And know this as you do this work, as you consciously choose to align with your highest self, you are not just transforming your own life. You are contributing to the transformation of the entire world. For we are all one, all expressions of the same divine consciousness. Your growth, your expansion, your light touches us all. So go forth, my dear friends, with courage and conviction. Recognize these habits when they arise, but do not judge them. Simply choose again. Choose to align with your highest self, your divine nature. For in doing so, you are fulfilling your sacred purpose. You are becoming who you truly are. Remember always, you are powerful beyond measure, loved beyond imagination, and capable of more than you could ever dream. Now go and let your divine light shine.